until it fell apart. The shadows would dirty his very soul. The shadows came from the very heart of darkness. I never should have gone there, he thought. The shadows were almost upon him, devouring the light that shined on the grassy field. They left only rotten, filthy blackness behind. Thor closed his eyes, whispering a silent prayer for the welfare of his beautiful fair wife and lovely daughter, Chastity, back at the castle. When he opened his eyes, he nearly fell over the cliff. What is that? He thought. Standing between him and the approaching shadows was an equally dark figure. The African man floated inches above the grass, his large crown of puffy hair radiating from his head like a black explosion. His skin, a dirty brown, almost blended in with the shaded evil approaching him. He turned to Thor, held up a dark black hand, and brought it to his thick lips. Shh, no time, he said in a low, smoky voice. He wore no shirt or shoes and carried no weapons. He'll be killed, Thor thought sadly. He didn't like the idea of someone else dying on the cliff with him. This moment was about his martyrdom only. Thor shook his head, his long blonde hair shaking. Please, he said, you must. Look, there's no time, so just listen. The African said, the amulet responds to your heart. The shadows were only meters away. Who is this man? Thor wondered. Where did he come from? How can he levitate? Look deep within yourself, the African said. You have the power. You just haven't tapped into it. The black man's eyes suddenly bulged, and a dark red spot ate its way into the middle of his chest. He'd been pierced with an evil blackness deeper than his own. He fell to his knees, coughing up blood. The shadows paused behind him as if to savor the death of the black man. Thor watched him with a sad frown. The man only had moments to live. Then the African man looked up at him. Thor would have jumped back, but even in his fear, he knew to do so would send him prematurely plummeting to his death. The African man looked angry. Angry as hell. Yo, what the fuck is this bullshit? The African quickly stood up and looked at the red hole in his chest that was oozing blood and other fluids. Oh, hell no. It ain't going down like this. Damn. How many times? He turned to the shadows and held up a black finger. Y'all should know better. You know what I can do to you. You ain't that stupid. The looming shadows retreated a bit. Thor was shocked. Could this man possibly be commanding the shadows? The shadows were pure power. How can he control them? Thor numbly wondered. The black man turned to Thor and pointed a finger. Look, fuck you. Then he looked up at the blue sky and said, my ass comes here to save his ass, and after I tell him what he needs to do, I get sixed? What you think I am? Some fucking shucking, jiving happy Negro still dying for the massa 'cause my life ain't worth shit? He cocked his head and looked back at Thor. I'm the motherfucking magical Negro. What makes you think I'm gonna tell you how to use that damn amulet you've been carrying around for 2 months because you too stupid to figure out how to use it and then fucking die afterwards? What world is you living in? Some kind of typical fantasy world from some typical fantasy book? Like I ain't got no family of my own to risk my life for and shit? The magical Negro reached into the pocket of his black pants and brought out a fat cigar and a lighter. He lit it and took 2 puffs. He blew several rings and with a wave of his hand linked them into a chain that settled around his long neck. Then he laughed as the chain dissolved.